Alright guys, TacticalRab here, and today I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Major 4 is in the books, the best major, no doubt about it, since the inception of the CDL. Los Angeles Thieves walk away with an incredible championship. Kenny wondering why he didn't run the SMG sooner, but FaZe visibly frustrated with failing to make their first grand final at a major so far this season. What does it look like going into the World Championship? The bracket has officially been confirmed. Very much enjoying your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I greatly appreciate it. Really to the channel, thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Great to see this from Nature as well, enjoying the results and the boys walking away with it. I'm pretty sure he got himself on stage as well because Morog brought him up on the phone, just like I think he did back at, was it London 2019 when 100 Thieves won their first championship in Call of Duty. This another one. It's been a long time coming, to be honest, and honestly it's kind of come out of nowhere that LAT Thieves became this good this quickly. Maybe it's Vanguard, maybe it's not. I think it's kind of a bit of both, to be perfectly honest, because they've obviously been working hard and their control at their hardpoint, especially the Search and Destroy, was looking impeccable this weekend. Can they keep it up? That's the big question mark. No team has been really able to do that after hitting great levels for an event so far this season, and obviously like the script writers, it looks very much like the script writers are going to make it to the FaZe Wins Champs, right? Because there's been 6 different events so far this year, 6 different winners. One of them now is Los Angeles Thieves, and FaZe haven't yet won one. So, you know, you're going into the World Championship thinking the most likely winners are going to be FaZe, London, or Boston Breach, right? Because those are the 3 teams that haven't yet won an event. But yeah, here we go. Call of Duty major champions. Shout out to Shane as well. Definitely want to give Shane some credit because, yes, Jacob and Mudog obviously have turned things around to a degree, the players themselves, but since Shane joined this roster as the assistant coach, the players themselves are giving him a lot of credit, as is Jacob actually. And despite him not being there in attendance this weekend, unfortunately, I think he was like unwell or something, he had to stay back in, or maybe it was visa issues actually that he ran into. Whatever the case was, he couldn't actually go out there, but apparently has made a massive difference, and well, they walk away with the championship at the end of the weekend. This I did want to mention though, because Nature was not happy about this at all, and I wanted to just run this back really. If you guys missed this yesterday, Envoy comes out with the Darth Vader glitch here where he jumps up the ladder or mantles into the building, and with the pistol out you just can't shoot for some reason. Classic glitch here in Call of Duty Vanguard, and an incredibly impactful one, because if he gets this kill, it was effectively a free kill. At that point it was a 2 versus 3, and it would have been a 2v2, and then like yeah, and then Thieves could have well won this round, taking it to a round 11, who knows. They end up winning the series anyway, fair play for the regain, but this is what Gunless tweeted out back in February. I remember talking about this in a video at the time. Like, look at this, right? He climbs up here on Kavutu, tries to kill Octane actually. It's kind of funny because this was at Octane and Los Angeles Thieves benefited from it here, and then it was the other way around in that situation yesterday. But Gunless tries to get this kill, his gun just will not fire, and as he says, I tweeted about this bug legit in February, still not fixed, you know, who is surprised at the end of the day. Nature was like, what an absolute joke this is. People watching thinking, okay, wow, hang on a second here, we're in a grand finals of a major, the last major of the season before the World Championship, and we're getting bugs like this. Like, yeah, thank you to the developers at Sledgehammer Games, thanks, he says, right? So yeah, completely unacceptable. I don't know if there's any other bugs in the game that are going to appear by the time the World Championship comes around, but hopefully Sledgehammer Games were watching and are thinking, okay, yeah, probably we should fix that one to make sure this type of stuff doesn't happen for the rest of the season, because that was the crucial gunfight. But as the season progresses, there might be even more crucial gunfights that go down if this is still a thing at the World Championship. And if there's any other bugs as well, you wouldn't put it past Vanguard to bring something up Game 5 round 11 or Game 9 round 11 or whatever in the World Championship Grand Final. This is a post-game interview as well where the guys like Kenny was just saying he felt like he was possessed this weekend by some otherworldly force to actually be playing this well. I mean, Kenny, look, we know when he's on, he's just so much fun to watch. Hasn't really seemed that comfortable on the SMG since he switched over, but I think generally it's much more difficult to switch to an AR to an SMG than it is the other way around. It's more challenging, I think, to pick up your pace than it is to slow it down. It's like, it makes sense it's going to take Kenny a bit of time to adapt back again to the SMG, and probably in previous couple of years, he's maybe run it on occasion and ran it for maybe a couple of weeks in scrims and thought, you know what, this isn't really going to cut it, let me go back to the AR. But like, he really did look like World War II Kenny this weekend, and yeah, World War II Kenny wins events. That's what he does, and he's done it right here with Los Angeles Thieves yet again, and that actually breaks the streak of Octane and Kenny. We were talking about that 100 Thieves team back in Black Ops 4, looking at the fact that Slasher and co, like, they'd won an event, or even like last season's LA Thieves roster, for example, the fact that like it was Slasher and Huke that had won events, and now like Kenny hadn't really won one, and Envoy hadn't won one, of course, in quite some time. I guess since, if you want to count the kind of what London home series or whatever with Huntsman back in Modern Warfare, and then yeah, these two guys themselves over 3 years since they won an event. Slasher kind of got that record broken this year, and well, they've got the job done, and once again 100 Thieves as an organisation. It's an awesome storyline actually that it kind of comes full circle here. This, even as Drazah says, he was enjoying himself last night, and who can blame him, right? I mean, this guy, he's been a really solid player for quite some time and really turned up this weekend. Just seems like such a great guy to be around, so much energy around Drazah. Like his personality is just great. As he says, don't rip the posters too soon. This was one of the posters that came up right here. Like, oh, okay, they actually put it back together. So anyway, this is the poster if you guys missed this storyline. Someone came up with this poster of the Los Angeles Thieves taking their dog dog for a walk, that being the subliners. And this got ripped up actually by security or whatever, because I'm pretty sure the story was that the guys who had this sign were taunting like Paul X's parents. That's at least what I read. I wasn't there in person, so not absolutely sure on that storyline, but that was at least what was being talked about. So like, if that wasn't going on, I think, okay, you don't want to rip this sign out. There's no reason. It's just a pretty funny sign. But with that context, right, okay, maybe fair enough, like punishing these guys to a certain degree. But I know Paul X was getting pretty frustrated about this one on Twitter in a since deleted tweet. But and as Drazah say, don't rip up the signs, right? Because he's saying, look, this sign was absolute facts. So I don't know. I thought this was pretty funny, to be perfectly honest. And I wanted to give some credit to Los Angeles Thieves and Octane, right? When we went to a listen-in with Los Angeles Thieves, I was just so impressed with Octane's comms. The way he was like, the critical call-outs, the way he was getting them across, being like, guys, calm down, we're rotating, just hold this, hold that, make sure we don't do this. Like, and it just felt like they were playing in such a perfect situation with those communications. They weren't too hectic. Like, there was a good level of hype in there. Like, honestly, those comms were just beautiful to listen to. And as he says, put all the effort I had this year into my comms. So that seems to be making a difference for them. But also, the main difference maker was the fact that Kenny was just frying. With Envoy's been kind of frying most of this year. Octane and Drazah, since Kenny was on a sub, have been looking very good. It's really just been on Kenny to turn it around, right? Kenny and the SMG duo in general to put up good performances. And if they can do that, they can win events, right? And finally, Kenny actually came to play here. The Major 4 MVP. His stats this event were insane. And as he says, why was I even running an AR, right? All this time, there's been plenty of people telling Kenny, right, okay, go back to the SMG days of World War II. There's no way it can be that much different. Of course, he actually came into his career wanting to be an AR player, was forced onto the SMG role for Team Caliber back in World War II because they both had accuracy and Chino, so he had to run the sub and was absolutely disgusting with it. Going into Black Ops 4, though, he eventually finds comfort on the Maddox, but I do think that as an SMG, he can be more impactful, and people have been saying it for quite some time. He does switch. It doesn't work out initially, but with a bit more time, like he seems to be back in business, right? So I wonder if this will be the turning point for Kenny, really, in that for the rest of his career, he's now going to be a full-time SMG, right? I can't imagine him wanting to go back after a performance like this, because he knows that when he plays like this, he's one of the most impactful players in the entire game. Jacob even says here in the replies that, yeah, you're running a sub for Champs Octane, right? So yeah, say less. Maybe we're going to see Sulktane or whatever, Subtane, back out for the World Championship. But I mean, yeah, Kenny and Envoy this weekend were no doubt an absolute difference maker. Look at these stats for the MVP of the event. A 1.15 KD, 1.09 in hardpoint, 1.45 in search, 1.20 in control. He was a monster in control, actually, especially. Like, so yeah, I was just really impressed by this. Look, can he keep it up? Is it Vanguard? I guess we'll just have to wait and see, because there's been a couple of times now, especially the Seattle victory, where I thought, okay, wow, Seattle after this victory, they should at least still be a top 6, top 4 team for the rest of the game. I still think they might be top 6, but they had a tragic major, right? So it's kind of like, okay, is Vanguard just being Vanguard, or is the competition at this level? But this is probably the most confident I've felt. Maybe it's just because Champs is only 2 weeks away, that a major winner will actually be able to maintain something like this form going into the World Championship. I don't think they're going to be a pushover for anyone, and they probably have the best first round matchup that any team could actually hope for here. We'll see that here in a second. Even as Donny tempts as I teamed with AR Ken, like, you know, come on, Kenny, get the SMG out. Why did I not have this guy when I was teaming alongside him? Wanted to mention New York real quick though as well, because of course, like, Crimsix was giving a lot of credit to the Los Angeles Thieves guys. Their coordination was insane. They flat out deserved it. GG to them. We got a lot to work on. We got to get way better, right? And this could honestly be good for New York. Yes, they won the Prime Classic, but losing here means that they go into the Grand Finals or they go into the World Championships knowing that they're not the best team. They know that they've still got a lot of work to do over the coming weeks, and it might honestly be beneficial for their World Championship run if they can make this happen. We got the job done, missed the last step. Thanks for coming out, making this the best CDL event ever. Thought it was absolutely fantastic all across the board. Crimsix went on to say as well, talking about his own teammate Paul X and the fact that yes, like his KD might not have been so great, but the assist was certainly there from Crim and Paul this weekend. And yeah, of course it was a full team effort. But congratulations to New York again, making it to the Grand Finals, qualifying for the World Championship. That is step one. They don't have the easiest road at all to complete the mission at Champs itself, but they've put themselves there, and thankfully Florida aren't there. So okay, that's a W for the entire COD community, to be honest. This is another storyline which is incredible. Havok, you remember when he declined going to the subliners, joined Rokkr instead, doesn't make the World Championship. Kismet joins New York, wins the Pro-Am, top 2 at the final major of the year, and makes the World Championship, right? So kind of incredible how that Texas Nation team, Havok declined the chance to go to New York, didn't want really what they're offering, goes to Rokkr instead. Looks okay on Rokkr, but they don't make Champs, of course. And then Kismet joins New York, the pickup of the entire season. He's like, okay, Havok, you don't want to go there? Like, okay, I'll take the opportunity up. I'll have an unbelievable amount of impact in terms of the way that team was trending, and then of course goes on to qualify for the World Championship. But who knows what they can do? They can be a serious force. Like, they're a top 3 team in the game right now. There is no doubt about it. And on the Florida side, Awakening says such a wasted season, down bad. So this is interesting to me, because what's going to happen with Florida next year? Are Awakening and Skies at the end of their contracts? Can they walk away? Because if I'm Awakening, I don't want to be part of Florida anymore. Yes, I had some good success with them back in Modern Warfare, and we're going back to Modern Warfare 2, but like, if you're Awakening in Skies, do you really want to be on Florida for 4 years in a row now? Like, I'm surely they're going to get offers elsewhere and might just walk away, because I think Florida need to really rethink how to build a roster, to be honest. Maybe losing their star players might be a wake-up call in that sense. And Simp actually from FaZe, he was really frustrated, like, as he says, I got fried all series long, so heat. I think he dropped a 0.8 in the series against Thieves. Pretty sure aBeZy had like a 0.88 or something, so both tiny terrors in the 0.8 range. Don't see that very often at all. And yeah, really interesting to think about this, because every single event so far this year, we're thinking, okay, FaZe, they made the grand finals, they didn't end up winning it, but like, it is what it is. Arcitys says 2 weeks notice, almost like he's going to retire, but I'm pretty sure he just means probably 2 weeks out for the World Championship. And even as Arcitys says, we're clicking our point, troll S&Ds, gotta find a good in between. So look, yes, this game is kind of crazy. The level of the competition is also insane between the top teams, but I do find it interesting how every event that FaZe lose, I've kind of thought, okay, well, you know, FaZe, they're still so scary whenever they're in losers. They're going to find a way to get to the grand finals anyway and make an impact. But this tourney is the first time all season they're outside of the top 2. They finished top 3. They lost to Los Angeles Thieves twice this weekend, despite never losing to them before in Call of Duty history as an organization. And now they go into the World Championship probably still as favorites somehow, right? Just because of the way the storylines have worked out this year. But I mean, yeah, honestly, their first round matchup is far from easy. And the way they've looked lately, like, I wouldn't be filled with confidence if I was a FaZe fan looking at the way they've performed, because they just seem to fall flat. And honestly, I feel like they could have lost that series to Optic if Optic weren't pretty terrible at Bacage, Hardpoint, Berlin seemingly as well, and the Control we'll talk about a little bit more later today. But yeah, FaZe definitely not happy with their performance lately, and understandably so, but still, the way the storylines are stacking up does make it seem like the FaZe might actually go on to win this World Championship. Major 1 was Optic, Major 2 was LAG, Major 3 Seattle, Los Angeles, these Major 4, so the World Championship surely has got to be someone different once again. And this is the way the season standings play out. So Subliners get the victory over the Florida Mutineers by winning the head-to-head tiebreaker. Toronto end up 7th because they lose the tiebreaker to Boston. Seattle got to 185, London 190. Thieves by winning, I think probably went to 205, not 200 here, but doesn't really matter. They get the 3rd seed, Optic 2nd, FaZe of course 1st. That leaves the bracket looking like this. This is the official World Championship bracket. It's a double elimination bracket, as we love to see. In previous years, there were like buys in champs. We don't want to see that. 8 teams are here, nothing in losers brackets, and it just starts from a straight up double elimination bracket for the World Championship, right? So if you want to win this event, you've got to win 4 series. You've got to, of course, have won everything this entire year to get to this point, and then win, well, at least 4 more series. If you drop to losers, I think it's going to be an even harder road than that. But these are the first round matches. So number 1 plays number 8, number 2 plays number 7, etc, etc. FaZe Subliners round 1. What about this, right? To FaZe, after getting beaten by Los Angeles Thieves, now have to come up against New York in the very first round. Of course, like, these teams know who they're playing. They can prepare very well the next couple of weeks or so, but like, FaZe's respawn has been a little bit suspect. Subliners has been very good. Yes, I think that FaZe are maybe still marginal favorites here, but this is like exactly what you want if you're New York, right? You're playing a FaZe that maybe aren't on the best form right now. They could really do some damage in this tourney. If New York win that one, right, the run is very much on, because they play Ravens or Surge, both teams that have not looked, well, the Ravens have been looking okay online, not the case for Surge, but both teams pretty woeful on land at the most recent events. Surge are a team I have more faith in a LAN environment, but still, it's tough to rule out a team like the Ravens with the raw potential they do have when they turn up. Optic versus Ultra as well. This is honestly going to be kind of scary for Optic, as Ultra, I think, kind of rarely lose match up like this twice in a row. They just lost to Optic Game 5, Round 11 at the Major. Like, you'd think that Ultra will be working very hard indeed on exactly how they win that series for the second time round, what they do in vetoes. I'm sure they're already thinking about it, to be honest. So that rematch is massive. And then Thieves, after winning the event, probably get the best first round matchup they could have wanted up against the Boston Breach, a team that I think they probably outclass on form all across the board. And if they win that, they'll play the winner of Optic and Ultra. I'm pretty sure is how it's going to work. So this is the winners bracket at the World Championship. It's all set in stone now. And that's going to do it for this video. But very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button. Tells the YouTube gods that's a good video. Others like you should see it as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you next time.